Obviously, tarpon have to eat a lot. And I mean, they're on the move a lot. They're big fish. And so they got to consume a lot on their migratory path. And they're just going to go, I guess, wherever the food is. But, we're so short-sighted. We think that just because I've been looking at this for 25 years that I know anything. I don't know anything about what the bait fish abundance was that may have drawn the tarpon in. But I do know that bait fish is a part of the food chain that ebbs and flows with the nutritional level that's incoming from freshwater in the rivers. That's a biological fact that the lifeblood of any bay is the freshwater inflows. I mean, it's not just to balance the salinity, it's to pulse nutrients into that bay, which spark the beginnings of the food chain, which we as fishermen benefit from a few notches up the food chain, obviously, and tarpon are pretty far up the food chain. So I don't know, if you have poor recruitment of nutrients or bait fish because of the lack of nutrients, I mean, it's just a domino effect. I mean, it's cause and effect. I don't know if anybody could truly prove that, though. That's a pretty esoteric subject for an ambitious grad student. It's all based on the damming of rivers. One of the main topics for the first 10 years or so of my career was this debate. And I mean, it was heated arguments about the freshwater inflows. When Corpus Christi built the Choke Canyon Reservoir, which is the larger of the two reservoirs that the main sources of water for the city of Corpus and surrounding communities, they essentially signed an agreement saying that if it rained in the watershed, Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon Reservoir, that they would release a certain amount of that rainwater into the bays. And the main argument is the way I framed it was, if you don't think that God or nature intended rivers to flow into the sea, then we can't even talk about this subject because you've already lost the argument. I know that that's a fact. And I know that it wasn't an accident. And wasting water by releasing river water from that would have gone into the Nueces Bay, in this case, releasing that is not what some people call a waste of water. The waste of water comes into play when people take 30-minute showers or plant a non-native grass such as St. Augustine and water it 3 times a week to create an artificial lawn. Those are the main wastes of water. You probably know that in the culture of water conservation, most golf courses now use Greywater to fertilize their greens. That's not nearly as harmful, obviously. And I mean, I have some really close friends, and some of them were in high political positions locally, who we just couldn't talk about this subject because, I mean, they said, well, I still catch trout in the Nueces Bay. What's the problem? And I said, if you think that the smoking gun of this biological disaster is going to manifest itself in you catching fewer trout, then you don't understand anything about the biology of an estuary. And it's pretty fundamental. And the people who argued against what we call the freshwater inflows or the agreed order, they just felt like they needed to find all sorts of ways of not abiding by the agreed order. When you live and die by tourism and fishing as a community, why would you kill the golden goose, which is your bays? And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a progressive thing, but choking the nutritional inputs that the inflows provide from our bays may not manifest itself in obviously negative ways until the people who are arguing that we don't need that are dead. But fresh water was meant to flow into the sea. That's really the only argument you really need to believe in.